All right, so to get the most out of this class, take the time to set up your space like so. One chair here with the back of the chair facing in, another chair parallel to that. Got backs of chairs here for your hand to use when we're doing balance work. And then a third chair that you sit in. Ideally, that chair is brings your hips to the level of your knees or slightly above, not below. That's the ideal. Once you've got all that set up, scoot to the front edge of your sitting chair and you'll be facing forward. I'm just turning sideways. You can see that I'm not sitting like this, which is what happens to all human bodies as we age. We want to get the pelvis tipped forward, which spring loads the spinal column and lengthens it up just from fixing the foundation in our pelvis. And then if the head and neck are protruding forward over time, we want to be bringing them back in and up. These are things we work on a little more intently in the Friday class. We do a little more joint mobilization, whole body movement. But today we do minimal amounts of that so we can get to the standing and walking portion. As you achieve your upright seat, breathe in, breathe out. In through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. It's the most basic meditation practice. Doesn't make it any less powerful that it's basic, but posture and then breathing. Let that slowly, surely, but surely clear whatever excess activity is going on in the brain, nervous system. We go from two-part breathing, long inhale, long exhale, to four-part breathing, long inhale, hold full, long exhale, hold empty. So to bring our attention, our mind, what the Taoists call the the ability to not have your mind wandering off, but to have it here and now, which is, Mary, I'm going to mute you. It looks like you just unmuted yourself. I'm going to mute you. Okay, I got you. You're muted. Mind has a tendency to wander off. So paying attention to the physical structure, the body, aligning it correctly, and then paying attention to this quality of relaxation through it. All of these are challenges, little gauntlets for the mind, bringing the mind into the present. And then breathing, the four-part breath really starts to ground the mind and the body because you're paying attention the whole time. You're going inhale, paying attention, holding the breath, paying attention, exhaling, paying attention, holding empty. You're still present, 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 just the whole time. And at first that takes a little bit of, you could say, effort, but eventually it's where we drop into, because it's a natural state for us to be present. Even though there's usually a lot of noise and distraction, the more we train it, the more we just settle into that state. And then that helps us, you could imagine a pilot to a jet. If they're not paying attention, it's a little difficult to pilot that jet. So being present with all the controls and all the mechanisms, we got to bring ourselves into the present. And then now we start to move the mechanism. So the first one, slide your hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, arching, getting all the vertebra to go into extension, and then slide your hands forward past your knees, hollow the chest, drop your head, rounding the back, opening and broadening the back, spinal flexion. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling as you arch. Exhaling as you round. Once again, we're training our mind to be in the body. Inhaling, arch. Exhaling, round. Remember this emphasis on soft, on ease, on leisurely, relaxed movement. Meaning we're not in a rush, and we're not yanking on our body, forcing it into the movement. We're enjoying it. We're easing into it. And now let's settle to neutral. Go to the second movement. Slide your left hand forward, right hand and elbow back. Turn the shoulders, turn the head to the right. And then slide the right hand forward, left hand and elbow back. Turn the shoulders, turn the head to the left. And reverse. Spinal rotation. All 24 vertebrae gently rotating, the arm bones going through their range of motion. We're also turning in the groin hip leg relationship they call the quad. So when you're turning to your left, your right groin is having to release and open. And when you're turning to your right, your left groin is having to open. One more to your left. And then back to center and settle. Third movement, hang the arms loose. Shift the weight to the right buttock. Softly lean the spinal column. Lift your left wrist up. This allows you just a little more range to tip. And this left foot can even come off the ground. And then we come back to right the body vertical. And then tip. Lean. Right wrist floats up. Right foot empty. And then body comes back up, right? So there used to be these toys. They were kind of, I think they were children's toys. They were blow up. It was like a clown or something, and it would have air in the top, say 90% of the toy, but in the bottom it was like a sand base, right? And so then you could knock that thing over, but it would right itself. So that's a rudimentary way of thinking about what Tai Chi is trying to have us find, is that instead of us holding ourselves up, we're relaxing and finding this base underneath. And it's that base going down and being heavy that rights the rest of the body. And then let's find middle. Shoulder blade range of motion. We go forward, up, back, down. We always have to, just like when we floss our teeth, we have to floss the same spaces because the plaque goes into those same spaces. We want to get really good at these shoulder circles. We want to do them regularly so that the plaque build up the residue of tension and stagnation is kept at a minimum. Reverse. Let's go back and up, forward and under, back and up, forward and down. We have to empty out what's in the shoulders and chest and upper body so that we can actually feel that heaviness underneath and that lightness up top. And last one with the shoulders. Bend those elbows. We flare them out and up, and then down, and then into the touching in front, and then down. One of the problems with the aging process is that we move less and less and less, and then these mechanisms go into disuse. Let's go ahead, elbows go back, and then down, forward, up, and then forward, down, back, down, forward, up. And so any mechanism that's not being used properly has a combination of residue and rust, and also sort of a collapsing that happens in the area. And so then just becomes non-functioning, and the whole body has this happen over time. And so the Taoist practice is just use all your mechanisms. Let's go ahead, elbows out to the side, left hand high, right hand low, cross and wrap, then elbows straight out to the sides, and then cross and wrap, side, cross and wrap, side, and side, and then release. Let them swing. We'll just do minimal leg tune-up. Scoot a little bit back on your chair, very stable, and then lift right knee and bring right heel in and flex right foot. Push away, bring it back up, and then set the foot down. Other leg, bring it in, push away, bring it in, set it down. 3 more each side. Load, push, load, down. Switch, load, push. Notice with my leg, I'm pushing at an angle where I can fully straighten the leg. Right? So sometimes people do this and they try to push way up here and they can't straighten the leg. Bring the leg down so that you can finish the extension. Now, straighten right leg out, point foot, flex foot. Point, flex. And then tilt that foot in, out, in, out, in. And then circle, in, around, and out. Reverse, out, around, and in. Switch feet, point and flex. Tilt the foot in, tilt the foot out, known as inversion, eversion. Circle. Reverse circle. And down. Scoot all the way forward on your chair, front edge. Last thing with the legs. Step a little wider than your hips. Lift your toes up. Now the heels are touching the ground. Turning on the heels. Notice knees in and toes in. And then lift the toes and turn on the heels. Knees out and toes out, opening this groin area. So leg bones internally rotate and externally rotate. Internal, external. Internal, external. Internal, external. And then neutral. Now from here, the balls of the feet stay on the ground. Go heels in, knees out. And then lift those heels, go heels out, knees in. So it's still internal, external rotation, but just slightly different with a different pivot point on the ground, uses the muscles differently. So we're getting an even development of the hips and leg relationship. And then back to neutral. Now, hip hinge. So folding at the hips and then sit vertical and tip back. Now, importantly, hang your arms loose. Notice how if you really hang them, they just hang right alongside you naturally. But as you fold, keep them hanging so that they dangle, and they should, if you look at my body, they're kind of hanging almost in front of my ankles. And then vertical. And then as I tip back, they hang a little behind the body. So I'm not holding my arms. We got to let go of this junction up here to have this feeling that Tai Chi's talking about, where it's top empty, bottom full. Okay. Hold. Now, find the vertical. Slide your feet back a little bit. We're going to fold at the hips. Let those arms hang. Now, we have to come forward a bit out of the chair and then push through the earth and rise to vertical. And then the first thing that needs to happen is the hips fold, the arms are hanging loose, then folding at the hips, sinking the buttocks, and land the tush. Again, fold, arms are loose, top is light, top is relaxed. And then hip hinge. Again, fold, rise. Again, the tendency, as soon as we stand up, there's fear of falling, and so then we grab on and we tighten the body. Fold and sink. And one more time. Now, don't sit in your chair, but do the exact same mechanism. Fold, sink, dangle the arms, possibly touch the toes, touch the floor, and then rise back up to standing. And let's add to this, hips a little forward. And then find the middle. And then hips back and sink. Rise to vertical. Hips forward. Middle. Back. Sink. And middle. Now, you should have your chair set up like this. Go to the chair on your right side. Step in front of that chair and turn and face it. And have your fingertips on the chair so you can safely tip into your toes. Tip to the middle of the feet. Tip to your heels. Noticing one thing in my body, that I'm not bending at all at my hips now. So I'm tipping this straight body into the toes, middle, and heel. Middle, toe, middle, heel. Now, go into your toes. Use that chair so you can really go for that big lift. Heels all the way up, back down, rocking back to the heels. Make sure you're holding your chair for safety so you can pull the toes up off the ground. And then down and rock forward and lift. And down, rock back and lift. Again, forward and lift. And settle. Now, place the heels of your hands sturdily on the back of the chair. Walk your feet back. Now, do fold at the hips. So really hip hinge. Basically, downward facing dog from yoga. Really important because the back and the legs tend to get very stuck, and that limits our mobility. To come slightly out of it, lift the chest, the hips come somewhat forward, right? So you come out of the position and then go back into the position. Hip hinge, pushing the hips way back. And then let's do a few dynamically. Inhale, chest up, hips forward. Exhale, hips back, fold. Again, inhale, chest up, hips somewhat forward. Exhale, folding at the hips. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale, chest up. Now, to come out of it, walk your feet all the way forward next to the chair so that you can stand up under your own power. Go back to vertical. Turn and face forward. Now we do a couple more exercises here. Turn your right foot a few degrees out. Put all your weight in your right leg. It's my left leg, but your right leg if I'm your mirror. And then place your left foot out in front like so. Now, right hand on your chair, hip hinge. Stick your butt back. And so if this leg were very tight, you'd feel it right away as you soften up. See if you can fold at the hips and slide your hand down to the ankle, the shin, maybe even to the foot. And then come all the way back up to vertical. And do it again. The hips hinge back. Slide that hand down, bowing. And then all the way back up. Now, if you're feeling pretty balanced, add this challenge where instead of hand on the chair, hand is on your other thigh. Hold, and then come up. So this big, important concept in Taoist practice, freedom of movement. So freedom of shape shifting, freedom of changing angles and relationships through the body. Now, this leg, you've just cleared it, let's say, right? Now, bring that foot back, put all your body weight into your left leg, take your right foot behind and touch the floor behind you and tip your body a little bit. Let me just turn sideways so you can see. This could be the whole position. So I'm going from vertical to slightly tipped forward, right? And then you add challenge by seeing if you can tip more forward. You got your hand on the chair for safety. How much can you get to that almost parallel and then come back up to vertical? Do it again. Hip hinge. Dangle even that left arm down near the floor. Right? So hip hinge like you're going to pick something up from the ground by teetering this way and then coming back up. One more time. This time to hold the position. So it could be here, could be here, could be here, anywhere. And then one option of added challenge is wings. Possibly someday, both wings. But you got your chair there should you need it, right? Someday you can try to fly in this shape. And then let's come back to vertical and shake out that standing leg. Switch sides. Come over to your other chair. Turn your left foot a few degrees out. Put all your weight in that left foot. Put your right heel in front. Right hand on right thigh. Hip hinge. So it's this bowing gesture. Slide the right hand down, shin, ankle, foot. And then come all the way up to vertical. Hip hinge and bow. All the way up to vertical. Hip hinge. Bow. All the way up. And one more. Up. Now bring that cleared leg back. Put all your body weight into your right leg. Left toe behind, body tip just a little bit forward, hand on the chair. So that could be your whole posture, and then you come back to vertical, or you challenge by going a little further. As the torso goes more down, the leg has to go more up, and then we go vertical. And again. All right, so what you eventually will hopefully find is navel, low back, and pelvis. This region is your middle cockpit, your pivot point. That's where we control our body from. A lot of times we're stuck up here, we're stuck up here, and as we relax more and more, we find this is actually the functioning pivot. Now, tip and hold that position. Option to go for wings. Right arm out, possibly left hand leaving the chair for a moment, but you can always come back if balance gets feeble. All right, fly. And then come back to vertical. Switch sides. Back to this. Now, first exercise. Ideally, no hands. You got navel, low back, to groin, this middle pivot area. Change your weight more to your right leg. Let the right leg have some bend. And see if you can get this freedom of movement here. From the hip, this empty leg. And then change. All the weight now goes here. This becomes the mountain. And this becomes like a cloud, empty. And it's empty all the way up in here in the hip. So the change, the magic happens up here. And then it goes down through the leg so that this is free. And then change. Free. Change. So that's level 1 of this exercise. Most important part. Now, hand on chair if needed or not. Lift to the tippy toe of your cloud foot, your empty foot. Place the foot back down and then change from that middle pivot. Then this foot, get to the tippy toe, place the foot down, change. Tippy toe, down, change. Within each exercise is our levels, right? So within this first exercise, you can be going sort of this 3-part movement of put the foot down, shift the weight, lift, then lower, shift, lift. Eventually you time it so that as your weight is going down, you're lifting the other heel. So that becomes more like walking. You commit, 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 commit. As you relax more, then you can speed it up. You see what I'm doing here? It's sort of like I'm running in place, right? And I can speed up that movement, but I have to stay relaxed. The moment I tighten, then I've blocked the ability for all these mechanisms to operate correctly. Now, next level of the exercise, put all your weight in your left leg, get to the tippy toe, using the chair for this so you can disconnect the foot, place the foot back on the earth, change the weight, tippy toe, lift, whole foot down, then change the weight. So that's that first level, right, where we're breaking each little event. We're going shift, tippy toe, lift, place it down. So 4 different things, right? 1, tippy toe 2, lift 3, whole foot down 4, then shift. Sticking with that broken down, sort of pulled apart variation, but eventually it blends back together so that you're sinking and lifting from the middle. So looseness everywhere, stability found in the middle. Sort of like you're running in place. So this is freeing you up from being stuck to the ground, right? And third variation, or fourth now in this exercise, hand on the chair for sure. Now, empty your left leg, and let's do this 4 times on just this leg. Lift all the way up, and just notice this soft quality. So my leg isn't out here, it's tucked in. And then release it all the way to the ground and repeat with that same leg. So we want freedom of movement like we were working on in the chair where I was having you push and return. So we want that same freedom here. Same freedom. And then switch legs. Put all the weight now into that left leg. Full lift, full extend down. Lift, down. Loose and relaxed everywhere. Right? And so the looser I am, the faster I can do this without disturbing my equilibrium. Right? It's that softness that allows for that. Now, switch each leg. So change the weight to your right leg. Full lift, all the way down, change, lift, down, change, lift, down, change, lift, down, change. So if you want to speed up, make sure you stay relaxed and you just go up, down, shift, up, down, shift. Eventually you can boom, boom, boom. So as I'm putting the weight down, this is coming up. As the weight goes down, this is coming up. So then, pa, pa, and so. So just that break, I mean, that's a hugely important set of exercises. We haven't gone anywhere. You didn't walk across the room. You didn't try anything fancy, yet you've tuned up your middle pivot. You've freed up the yin and the yang of the body. So keep in mind, if that's all you did before you tried to walk around your house, you did just this little opening bit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you've done something mechanically precise inside. Now, step back from the chair that's on your right, so it's in front of you. So you have a little runway, a little space. Put all your weight in your left leg. Put your right foot in front, heel touching. Now, primary direction is still down. From this middle, we just go down into that front leg and get to the tippy toe of your back leg. And then down into the back leg, tip of the heel in the front. Down. Make sure in that back foot you get all the way to the tip of the, because a lot of times when people are first doing this, they get calf cramps in the foot that they are getting to the tippy toe. It's important that you induce those calf cramps and clear them out, because otherwise the bottom of the bottom of the leg is very heavy with dense tissue. Now, hand on chair, lift, lower, shift, and then we add the challenge, this little flamingo. Just bend the knee, toe down, shift. As the weight goes down, this becomes free to lift, lower, shift. And then this leg free to bend, toe down, shift. The weight going down, free, shift. Remember, you can speed this one up too by going, as the weight's going down, this is lifting. As the weight's going down, this is lifting. As it's going down, as it's going down. Boom, 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 boom. So you're, again, tuning your freedom of movement. Now, hand on chair, let's go full lift, heel down, shift. Now, this back leg, let's bring knee forward and up, toe back, shift. As the weight stays down, this could come up, down, shift. And this can go forward and up, back, shift. This one could get sped up, but be careful, right? And switch sides. Side step. Got this chair. All your weight in your right leg, left foot in front, level 1, where we're just shift, get to tippy toe. Shift, get to tip of the heel. Mountain, cloud. Then they gotta switch. Mountain, cloud. Mountain, cloud. Mountain, cloud. Right? See if you can speed this one up. 1, 2, 1, 2. You just keep thinking down, down, down. And level 2, hand on chair. Lift, lower, shift, get to the tippy toe, then go flamingo, toe down, shift. The weight stays under, lift, lower, shift, shift. Eventually you can have it sort of at the same time as the weight is changing, the leg is lifting. So that starts to prove to you that you're getting better at the change of yin to yang, yang to yin, or empty to full, full to empty, which is the trick. Now, hand on chair, we'll go full lift, heel down, shift, and then this leg, knee forward and up, toe back, shift, up, down, shift, forward and up, back, shift. You could speed this one up, of course, use the chair for safety, just get to where you're moving, loose, and relax. Go back to the first side. Set up as if we're going to repeat that same sequence. Put all the weight in your left leg, right foot in front. Now we go shift, step, shift, shift back, step back, shift back. Important discernment is that the body is moved forward by the weight going down. When I step this foot, my body doesn't go forward with it. I'm not stuck to my foot being pulled forward. It's only when I put the weight down do I then advance forward. Same thing here, back. When I step back, I'm not clumsily going back into the foot. The foot goes back and gets ready, and then I retreat backwards as the weight goes down. So you want to get good at just this down, step, down, and get that to move you smoothly forward and back, but we're not lurching forward in some way, because all it takes is just a little bit of thinking back or forward to get us slightly over our skis. So this emphasis on just down, down is what gives us, right, this ability to move athletically, right? So you can see when I do this, that looks like, hey, he's moving fast, but I'm not hustling, rushing, or doing anything crazy, right? Now, level 2, lift, lower, shift. As the back foot's empty, pick it up and step it over something, and then shift and flamingo. Shift, up, tuck, and this right here challenges, can I reach the foot back and stay in this leg, and then decide when it's time to shift. Lift, lower, shift, step, shift, flamingo, and then shift, and take your time with this portion right here. Right, and one of the goals with these 2 classes that I teach is that we can do advanced Tai Chi. It's one of the things I'm hoping to get going with this community is in-person Tai Chi, where we learn a form, right? You got to have all these different little footwork maneuvers to be able to combine them with some of that upper body stuff. Now let's go level 3 here. We go up, down, shift. Now we go heel, knee, foot, down, shift, and then we go knee, back. Now again, this is probably the most important part of this exercise is the up, tuck, and reach. So remember that elongation of the leg while staying here and here, and then you decide when it's time to go back. Up, down, shift. So this full range. Shift. That's of course this is all valuable, but this going backwards bit right here really forces you to find what we're looking for. Because very often people go back like that. They basically fall backwards. Versus you can see, I don't fall backwards. I'm extending. I'm still empty. And then I plug into the earth through that leg. And then I plug in, stay plugged in. So this is free to do all different kinds of moves. And then I plug in. Now this one's free. Reach it back, still empty. Plug it in. Reach. I still haven't changed which one I'm plugged in. I'm still plugged in here. Then I plug in, right, and down. Let's switch. Level 1. Change the weight to your right leg, left foot in front. We just go shift, step, shift. Shift, step, shift. Shift, step, shift. We're moving forwards and backwards by just going down, 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 down. Down. Level 2. Lift, lower, shift. Good time for a chair, right? As you step up and over an obstacle, shift, flamingo, down, shift back. Now this is that money spot right here where you lift, tuck, and reach without going out of this leg. Then you decide to change weight, lift, low, down, staying down. So this whole movement is free to do any number of things. And then we go down, flamingo, down. And then this is that money spot right here. Up, tuck, and reach. And then shift, lift, and lower. And just the softness required. Because if I'm up here doing this, I feel unsteady, but it's right underneath us. You know the old saying of it's right under your nose kind of thing. It's one of the coolest parts of Tai Chi is that where we're looking for the stability is like up and above, but it's actually just below the surface. Just by softening what is happening through the nervous system in the body, we find this other primordial system of movement, right? Let's go level 3, lift, lower, shift. Now it's heel, knee, foot, down, shift. Now here, up, tuck. Just take your time. Use the chair to really get the most out of this. Really milk the value of that back step, of teaching you where your middle pivot is. Going forward is somewhat challenging, but we can see what's going on. It's a little easier. But the moment we start going backwards, you really have to almost bring that awareness. You have to expand the awareness. One more. Right. Now, come to the left side of your space. Turn and face downrange. Now we got a big runway. Chairs are on the left of you if you set up like I asked you to, so that you can use them for safety. Level 1, all the weight in your right leg, left foot in front. Now again, can we move forward across the room by only considering down? Step the foot, down. Step the foot, down, down, down. Same thing going backwards, down. Step without any weight, then down. Step without any weight, down. No weight. As the weight goes down, the body retreats. You step, the body doesn't move in space, but as you shift, it does. Now you try to smooth that out by just going step, shift, step, shift, step, so that it becomes just like natural walking. But see if in your mind you can keep in mind this idea of down, 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 so that you're not almost falling backwards or almost falling forwards. You're down, down. And then please stick with this variation of short steps, small steps, unless you're feeling pretty loose and groovy. And maybe it took you 8 steps to get across. Can you do it in 5 or 3 even, where you now take longer strides, but you're still just going down. Long stride, but it's still down. Down, down, down. Right, so that took me 4 steps. Down, down, down. 3 steps. So you're keeping your middle, right? And if you just watch me for a moment, you know when people are walking, we have this thing, I'm sort of exaggerating, we have contralateral swinging. When this leg, we don't walk like this, right? We do contralateral walking. But if you consider it from the middle pivot, it makes perfect sense. It's counterbalancing. It's like these two, and then these two. These two, these two. So eventually you have to let the limber arms swing to walk, because if they're stuck like this, I can only get so much done. I'm impeding the movement of the rest of my vehicle. So that's where, and then eventually there's running, which the arms take on this shape. But so all of that is achieved through loosening and loosening and finding the middle. Finding the middle. So please work on that at home. Create the safe environment and then work on long stride movement, right? You got to get to the restroom quickly, or the phone's ringing, or the tea kettle's going, and you got to get the fire turned off. You don't want to rush, right? Because with the Parkinson's, as I've seen it with all my private clients and what I've heard from folks, is the more you're rushing, the more stuck you get. So if you think about everything is Tai Chi. So, oh, the phone is ringing. Cruise over like a panther, get the phone. Back away when you need to, right? All right, now side steps. Let's turn and face forward. Be at the left side of your space. All the weight's in the left leg. Right foot out, in, out, in. So same thing. We're working on full leg, body grounded, this foot free. So because this leg is empty, I can move it fast. If I'm stuck in this leg and I'm going like this, there's this clumsiness the whole time versus it's empty, right? You see stillness. Now, foot out, shift the weight. Shift the weight. Keep the heels on the ground. Buy this internal real estate where you can, notice how you can see the Chinese calligraphy behind me, and then when I shift, you can't see it anymore. So I'm moving this being through space quite a bit without picking my feet up, but I'm changing full to empty, empty to full. And then we come over into that right leg and bring left foot in, out. And notice I'm blocking that calligraphy behind me, and I'm stepping in and stepping out. So I'm not moving and moving and moving and moving. It's out, in, out, in. Now, feet stay together, change the weight, change the weight. So there's not a lot of movement of the torso, but there's some. When I'm going this empty, and then this. Now put them all together. Full, empty, step the empty foot, and shift. This is empty, step it in. Shift, step out. Shift, step in. Shift, step out. Shift, step in. Shift, step out. The other way. Out. In. Out. Middle pivot. Central pillar. Loose as can be. Everything's soft. I'm grounded, but I'm adaptive. Now I want to do advanced yoga. Advanced Tai Chi. So step your feet separate, about a little wider than hip distance or somewhere comfortable. Get this change happening like we worked on. And let's add Shift to the right leg, turn. Shift to the left leg, turn. And then we add what we work on in our Friday class. The most beginning advanced Tai Chi is the bear washing its paws in the stream. Brush knee, sweep the leg. Shift, turn, brush knee, sweep the leg. Now, keep your hands on the right, step the left foot in. Change the weight to the left leg, turn, brush, sweep, step out. Shift and turn, brush and sweep, step in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep, step out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep, step in. Shift and turn, brush and sweep, step out. So as you practice this one more and more, you start to have a feeling of advanced Tai Chi, this freedom of movement of all the parts, yet internal stillness. On the way back, let's do the bear swats the jumping fish. So brush knee, swat the fish. Now as the hands change, step the right foot in. Shift and turn, brush and swat. Step out, hands change. Shift, turn, brush, swat. Step in, hands change. Shift, turn. So one of the words is schwen, flow. Slow down exactly the amount needed to have it feel schwen, meaning like the river. The river doesn't yank on anything. The river flows. Brush knee and push. Fold that top hand. It's shift and turn, brush and push. Step in. The hands switch. Shift and turn, brush, push. Step out, hands switch. So again, these are ones we work on in detail in the Friday class. Shift and turn. So we're walking, we're moving, we're turning, we're liberating this vehicle that, whether it's Parkinson's or just time, that's the deal, is a human body, just a human brain network, brain, nervous system, body network just gets more and more residued and stuck. Shift and turn, brush, push, shift and turn, brush, push. So you can see how Tai Chi very specifically is helping to break that stagnation. And it's one of the most lovely feelings when you start to get it, because there's releasing everything that's heavy and extra. That grounds you so you feel stable. And then let's settle back, shift, shift. And then standing in the middle of your chair, so you have that safety network there. Let's finish with the Sink Chi Wash Organs movement, which just washes out whatever little loops and blocks there might be from that movement. So remember, before we rock to the toes and we rock to the toes and rock to the heels. Do that very safely. Rock to your heels, open and lift. Rock to your toes, sweep around in front. Rock to the heels, you bring in the upper, rock to the middle of the feet, hands settle to the belly, and then remember your squat where we went hips back, sit the buttocks and release your arms so they dangle. Push through the earth and stand up. And it's sort of like we've sloughed off something, and we do that again. Rock a little back, open and lift. Rock a little forward, sweep around, close. Rock back, bringing in, settle to the middle in the feet, hands to the middle, hips back, elbows a little forward, sink, release the arms, and then you just push through the earth and stand vertical. One more time, rock back, open and lift. Rock forward, sweep around. Rock back, bringing in, and settle to the middle. hollow the front, sink and release, back to stand. And then final gesture is wing, roll, fold, settle, settle, settle to the belly. Remember, this is our middle cockpit. We don't want to be living up here. We want to keep the mind here. And then just a final self-massage. Hands together. Rub your palms. Rub the back of one hand. Palms. Back of other hand. Palm. Now that mechanism, the groin, the front of the hip and leg junction, the hip flexors, the tail, the lower back, lumbar, and then, like we do that squat, sit the buttocks, sweep the hands down the outside of the legs, around to the inside, then standing back up, hands come up the inside to the navel. 2 more times like that. Groin, hip flexors, tail, lumbar or lower back, outer legs around, inner legs up to the navel. Make sure you get all the way to the belly button. 1 more time. Groin, hip flexors, tail, lower back, outer legs, inner legs, navel. And then we go outer arm to the shoulder, turn that arm palm up, and sweep down and off. Repeat on the same arm. And there's a path. Get over the shoulder and around, and then there's this through. So it's the outer channels or yang channels, inner channels. They flow in this direction in an ideal state. Switch, outer and inner, outer and inner. And then finally, put all your weight into the balls of the feet, heels are empty, and then lift and lower your heels. Can you create this little bounce? Arms loose, body loose, little bounce, bounce, bounce. Settle. Then legs, in, out, shake a, shake a, shake a. So small and fast, loose. And then lift your left heel, and then put that down as you lift your right heel. So in place, running in place, trying to get the booty to shake, tail to shake, low back to shake. Eventually you can feel it all the way up into your throat and neck. And then settle. Float the arms, the shimmy. When I do that, what a lot of people do is this. So I want you to see the difference between, it's not me moving my arms almost don't move, but something does, and it's the rib cage right in this area is shaking loose. It's a fun one. Good on the dance floor. And then wrists, like ragdoll. And then forearms, turn, 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 chicka, chicka, chicka. And then last time, shogun, settle to your belly. Seal the practice. 1, 2. And then this Taoist hand position. Grab, fold. So you create this little yin-yang looking symbol. So you can just kind of bring them together. Thank you, everybody. Great job. If there are any questions, feel free to unmute or any thoughts of any kind. Thank you.